Hey, you're watching Preppy Kitchen, where I, John Cannell, teach you how to make delicious homemade dishes to share with your family and friends. Today we're making a spooky, delicious spiderweb sheet cake. Look at this thing. Is that a real spider? No, it's made out of M&Ms and some chocolate, but it looks pretty spooky to me. Let's get started. First off, we have the wet ingredients. So that's 1/2 cup of sour cream or plain yogurt. If you're wondering, like, where am I? What is this kitchen? This doesn't look like my new kitchen situation. The renovations are dragging on a bit. They got a bit crazy, loud, and dusty. And for the kids' sake, we moved into a rental house just until it gets more settled there. All right, 3 whole room temperature eggs right in there. 1 cup of buttermilk. 3/4 cup of vegetable oil. I'm gonna add in a tablespoon of vanilla. Give it a good whisk. I'm just giving it a pre-whisk because next to go in is 1.5 cups of hot coffee. It's the extra 1/2 cup that I was gonna do off camera, but maybe you wanna watch that happen too. Now we're gonna set this aside carefully. This island's not as big as my usual one. For the dry ingredients, I'm using 3 cups or 360 grams of all-purpose flour, 2 2/3 cups of sugar, which is 533 grams. I'm gonna sift this out right now because this is a big cake and my little sifter is getting full. 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. This is important. If you can get a good cocoa powder, go for it. I'm using Valrhona right now, but there's tons of great brands out there. You definitely do want to sift out any cocoa powder because it really clumps up very easily. 1 tablespoon of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Sift that out. Last, 3/4 teaspoon of salt. You can use whatever salt you want. It doesn't make a huge difference in this, and a lot of it's personal taste too. You might like, maybe you like, a saltier cake. Salt and chocolate's really good. Okay, right now we're gonna give this a careful whisk. You could make this in your stand mixer too, by the way, but today I'm gonna make it in the bowl. That's how it's gonna be. Okay, so now we're at our final step for the batter. I'm so excited. There we go. Mega cake batter. It smells so good. Coffee and chocolate is a winning mix. One thing I want to warn you about, this makes a very liquidy batter. Oh my God, I totally should have done this in the stand mixer. What was I thinking? Whatever, I have ultimate control over this batter since I'm doing it by hand. Look at that. There's gonna be everything mixed in properly. If you want a different kind of cake, check out my German chocolate cake. That has the most delicate chocolate clouds. The batter is amazing. You're using fluffed up egg whites in that one and folding it in. It's a little bit more stepwise, but oof, that's my cake. If it was my birthday coming up soon, I would totally be requesting that from somebody if that somebody could cook. Okay, there we go. So now we have a nice thin batter. Looks kind of crazy, but that's what I want. No more pockets left in there. It's nice and smooth. Onward and upward, this is how it should be. This is a 1/4 sheet cake size sheet cake pan. It's 9 by 13, and what I like to do is line it with parchment paper. You just snip the edges out like this, and then it'll fit right in there and make all of your Virgo dreams come true. There we go, look at that. And then the cake will just pop right out and you peel the paper off, and I feel like it gives you a little bit extra tenderness at the very edge because it doesn't quite caramelize as much. That's my thought. Okay, now we're just gonna pour this in. One final stir. If I dropped it all over myself, I would laugh and laugh and laugh and cry and cry and cry. All right, in you go. Wow, look at that. Just get the rest of that out there. Okay, this is gonna bake at 350 for almost an hour, like 50 minutes. You're gonna notice the cake comes up, the center will be nice and springy, and if you try it with a toothpick in the center, it'll come out clean. So in you go, carefully. My cake baked and it's cooling, and in the meantime, a crazy storm rolled in. I don't know if you can tell, but it's dark outside. So you'll have to excuse any thunder you hear. It's a little bit spooky all of a sudden. Anyways, so for the buttercream, I'm starting off by making a chocolate ganache. I'm gonna add this in at the end. It really makes things nice and just a little bit more chocolatey, silky smooth, which I love. I want to end up with about 1/3 of a cup, and you can always add in more chocolate. There's literally never too much chocolate in a buttercream. Do a heaping 1/3 of a cup. Rough chop. Gonna add that into a bowl carefully, not making any kind of a mess. I'm pouring in just a couple tablespoons of heavy cream here. It'll help it melt up. And this goes into the microwave, little like 30-second bursts at half power until it's mostly melted. So 2 30-second bursts at half power, and you can see that's all it needed. Nice and smooth. This will be great for the buttercream. In the meantime, we'll let it cool down just a bit. It's only slightly warm. And by the way, that was semi-sweet chocolate, but you could use bittersweet, anything you want. Into my stand mixer, I'm adding 3 sticks, 1.5 cups, about 340 grams of unsalted butter. If you wonder why a lot of recipes call for unsalted butter when they have you add salt back in anyways, it's just because different butters have different amounts of salt in there. And controlling bakers like me want to have the precise amount of salt every time, but you could use salted butter, just don't add any more salt. I get a lot of questions about it. I have 1/2 cup of cocoa powder to add in. This is like a nice Dutch processed one. I'm gonna sift it. I don't want big cocoa powder lumps, and cocoa powder has so many lumps. Now let's mix in this cocoa powder. Look at this amazing fudgy butter. No sugar in there yet, so you don't want to eat it, but look at that, so rich. All right, so scrape that bowl down. Take this off one more time, and listen, this is a sheet cake, so if you're like, hey, I don't want to do any sifting, you're crazy, don't do any sifting. I'm a little crazy. But that being said, I will be sifting in 1 pound of confectioner sugar a bit at a time. I measured this out on the scale earlier. It's like 1/2 bag or a full 1 pound bag, or add a little bit at a time and see how sweet you like your buttercream. It'll get just a scotch sweeter with the ganache added in. If you're piping a buttercream, you always want to sift it because those little lumps will clog your piping tip and lead to a nightmare situation. Mix a little bit in, and we're gonna repeat this. Sprinkling in 3/4 of a teaspoon roughly of salt. This really wakes the buttercream up and gives you a lot of flavor. Takes away that sugar sweetness. Dump the rest of the sugar in and sift it out. That easy. Paddle mixer back on. Okay, one more time. You can drizzle in a tablespoon or so of cream right now. Loosen things up. And always scrape that bowl down. There's a lot of layers going on in this bowl. All right, let's take a look and see what's going on. This buttercream looks nice and pretty smooth. I like the color, and what about the flavor? That's good. But you know what would make it better? Some chocolate ganache. This takes it over the top, in my opinion. Get it all out there. Okay. Mix it up. Can you tell the difference? It's a little like more liquidy and silky now. Ooh. This will be just wonderful on that sheet cake. I can't wait. Before we decorate the cake, the very last step is to melt a little bit of white chocolate, like about 1/4 cup, with maybe a teaspoon of cream. This is gonna make a very simple white chocolate ganache that we can drizzle over in a spiral pattern for our web. It's really easy and so fast. So white chocolate is notoriously finicky, at least in my book. 1 30-second, 50% power zap later, and it looks like it kind of seized up. If it does seize up and you're using it for something like this where it doesn't be perfect, a little butter and cream later, it looks like it'll come back to life. This is not gonna be a silky, amazing ganache, but it will be workable for our spider web. Let's get our cooled shake cake out and start decorating. Our spider is gonna be so easy and really cute. All I need is 1 peanut M&M and 1 regular M&M, chocolate brown flavor. 1 is the head and 1 is the body. And then little legs. So the little legs are gonna get piped with just a couple tablespoons of chocolate that I microwaved so it melted. I'm just using a piping bag that I cut the tip off of, but you could use a regular plastic bag that you cut the tip off too. Now all I have to do are pipe little V shapes. And you can go back over to thicken it up because they have to stand up on their own. Need 8 legs, but you can have a couple safety just in case something happens. This totally reminds me of my bat cake. You can click up here for that. It is a crazy looking cake with bats all over it, but we made them with candy melts because they had to be a lot stronger. Now this is gonna go into the fridge to chill. It'll be ready super fast. Let's go. My cake is all cooled. Look at this, soft, soft, soft. Okay, here's how I like to apply my frosting on any sheet cake with an ice cream scoop. Why? Because you can add it on, you can get a nice thick layer, and not worry about tearing any cake ever because you're just kind of smoothing it out. You're not like pulling anything too hard, if that makes sense. I'm using a small offset spatula to smooth it out. You can use whatever you want, even a knife works well. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm adding that spider web on, so I want to have like a nice flat canvas to start from. I feel like I'm gonna stop being a crazy person in 3, 2, 1. White chocolate ganache went into a piping bag with the tip snipped off. You could use the small round tip once again. And right now I'm gonna choose the center of where I want my web to be. So that's a total tongue twister. I'm gonna choose the center of where I want my web to be. So it's gonna be right here, kind of off center. All right, so we're just gonna make a big spiral. And if it's not perfect, it's okay. It's not like everyone's watching and judging. Once you get to the edge where the web stops, you just kind of stop and start. Okay, that doesn't look great, but it's not done yet, so don't worry. Now we're gonna use our skewer. Just take your skewer and drag it along. It's not gonna look amazing at first, but it comes together, I tell you, it comes together. This was a really fun cake because so many people tried it at home. I got many DMs and emails with people showing me their Halloween cakes, and they looked great. I love seeing people try my recipes out. It makes me really happy. First of all, I gotta tell you, that looks pretty nice. I would eat that cake. I'm like, oh, Halloween perfect spiderweb sheet cake. Boom. I'm giving my spider little eyes with just the smallest dollop of that white chocolate ganache that I'm applying with the skewer. I was trying to decide to give the spider a small body or a big body, but I feel like the bigger it is, it might be a little bit too creepy, so we're gonna go with the smaller body. Now place the head. Now we can place the legs. Remember, an arachnid has 8 legs, that's 4 on each side. If you like this recipe, you've got to check out my Halloween playlist. It has all my favorite Halloween recipes, including those crazy witch hat cupcakes. Oh my gosh, those had millions of views on Instagram alone. It was crazy. You got to see that one. Time for a bite. Fudgy, fluffy, rich, just perfect. Hit of salt, the works. You got to make this cake. Okay. If you like this recipe, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.